Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. So John Dean did just put out a post with regards to Linqto. Linqto has not responded to my email. I've received several emails and DMs from folks who are understandably concerned and pissed off about the lack of communication. And if you guys are following the Linqto saga, I recently did a video on that. I'll link it up here in the top right-hand corner. I get why, some customers would be really upset with these guys. Many Linqto customers, me included, joined the XRP class against the SEC in the Ripple case and provided several of the affidavits I submitted to the court. This Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will hold a Zoom meeting to discuss what's likely happening, as well as organize. We fought together once before. We'll fight together again. Email my office or DM me if you want the Zoom link. So only if you're a Linqto customer, by the way. So I'm putting this out as a public service announcement for those of you guys who did invest with Linqto and want to contact John Deaton. I'll link this tweet in the description of the video for you if you're interested. So thank you, John, for everything you're doing there. Wanted to keep going, guys. Mike Manfield here bringing this to our attention with regards to Ripple partner DLocal. They have just enabled Airtel mobile money as a payment method for Google Play in Kenya. So DLocal, a Ripple partner, the leading cross-border payment platform connecting global merchants to emerging markets, they've just enabled Airtel mobile money, and that's connecting to Google Play in Kenya specifically. So they've played a transformative role in Kenya, contributing to one of the highest mobile money penetration rates globally, with over 31.5 million mobile money accounts. That represents nearly 80% of the adult population. So you guys can see how popular this is in Kenya specifically. Airtel is a key enabler of financial inclusion in Kenya and across Africa. By enabling Airtel mobile money as a payment method, DLocal is supporting Google to provide a localized solution that meets the needs of users in Kenya. So another example here of how a Ripple partner is connecting and helping to bank the unbanked. This reinforces Google's commitment to expanding digital accessibility, ensuring that a much larger audience can engage with Google Play without barriers. And here's a quote, guys: enabling Kenyan users to purchase a wide variety of applications on Google Play using Airtel mobile money to Kenya is a proud moment for us. This coming from John O'Brien, Chief Revenue Officer at DLocal. He also says this partnership reflects our shared dedication to promoting financial inclusion and empowering users in emerging markets by enabling access to tailored payment solutions. And so, this is just one example of how, these companies come in, they help bank the unbanked, they're leveraging RippleNet technology. This has been, the focus from day one, and how this is penetrating, it seems like every single country where there are fragilities with regards to the banking system, moving money around. So these Kenyans, for example, can use their native currency, source XRP, they source that as the liquidity provider, transfer it into a different currency, they can purchase whatever they need to purchase. Boom, the transaction goes through in seconds. And there you go. You have more customers participating in the global market through this type of technology, leveraging Ripple partner DLocal and Airtel mobile money. So that's some great news there. Wanted to thank Mike for posting that. Guys, I also happen to see this. So BlackRock creating an XRP ETF. This has this has had us, this has always had us thinking, because BlackRock is the biggest. We already know all these smaller companies are trying to release their XRP ETFs. But guys, if we got one from BlackRock, that would be a really, really big deal. This courtesy of Good Morning Crypto. Listen to this.
So you would welcome an XRP ETF then?
We would certainly welcome it, and I think it's inevitable that there'll be, multiple ETFs around different tokens. And I think you'll even see ETFs potentially around baskets that also, I think, further diversify that risk.
Are you in talks with the largest issuers, particularly BlackRock, to get this done?
Well, I'm not going to comment on that. I know BlackRock has said some things publicly. We think it makes sense for the XRP community overall. Ripple obviously is a very important stakeholder in the XRP ecosystem, but we're not the only player. And look, we've seen, before the SEC lawsuit, XRP was the second most valuable digital asset. I think because of the headwinds of that lawsuit, we've now seen that largely abate. But the long-term view on these things is about, how do you create utility and really solve real-world problems with these different digital assets?
So just want to reiterate, this is an older clip, but as Brad says here, BlackRock has come on the record saying something similar. I don't know if you guys remember that Larry Fink clip where he was asked about XRP and a potential XRP product. And, he's given us the impression that he did not want to talk about it. I wish I had that clip up here, but I don't have it, unfortunately. So Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse hints at a game-changing connection between BlackRock and Ripple launching an XRP ETF. I think this is kind of where we're at right now. It's going to happen. It's just, when is it going to happen? Don't forget that Robbie Mitchnick, okay, if you guys don't know who this guy is, he's currently the BlackRock head of digital assets. And way back in 2017, for those of you guys who haven't been here as long as I have, Robert Mitchnick and Susan Athey back in June of, they published it in June of 2018. I believe that they were doing the research in 2017. So earlier versions of this paper were drafted in the beginning of July 2017. This is the cryptocurrency, or rather the XRP valuation model paper. So talking about the authors here, I will link this in the description of the video if you guys are interested. But essentially, this guy and Susan Athey, they both did create a valuation model, giving XRP a value based on some formulas down here. And so a very in-depth, complicated model. I'm obviously not going to go over this, but again, we'll link this in the description for you guys if you're interested. Talking a little bit about Bitcoin too. This is when Robbie Mitchnick was still starting his career. Now he is the head of digital assets at BlackRock. So there is a connection there. BlackRock obviously does see value in cryptocurrencies like XRP, not to mention BlackRock and Ripple are both partners of the World Economic Forum. So, their MO in line. I'm curious to see what happens in the coming months, especially as we're getting more clarity in the United States. So I wanted to thank Good Morning Crypto for posting that. And here are some updates. President Donald Trump has now signed an executive order directing the United States Treasury to upgrade its payment system, aiming to curb fraud, waste, and the abuse with a modernized, efficient approach. This just happened yesterday, March 25th. Listen to this.
I have an executive order for your attention relating actually to government payments. Historically, checks issued by the Treasury are, I believe, 14 times more likely to become the subject of fraud than electronic transfer payments. This is an executive order that's going to push the Treasury Department to modernize its payment system to ensure that where possible they're using electronic methods of payment as opposed to paper checks in order to reduce waste, fraud, and abuse in the government, which is obviously an endeavor that we've been pursuing in numerous aspects of government under your leadership.
It's basically modernization of equipment and methods, and it's something that really I think he's going to be a great Secretary of the Treasury wanted, Scott, and so we're doing this, and we have other modernization programs going on. We could let somebody else, whoever's next, whoever that may be, do it, but it's something that should have been done 25, 30 years ago. Okay.
So there's the executive order. It has been signed, and Mr. Mann here also mentioning that the Treasury is being upgraded to move digital currencies. The executive order was signed not long ago. Stablecoin regulations are coming in hot. So a lot is happening at the moment. I'm going to link the whitehouse.gov document here, modernizing payments to and from America's bank accounts. Again, this executive order was just signed yesterday. Going to read some of it here. By the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution, here's what he has ordered. Okay, Section 1, the purpose. The continued use of paper-based payments by the federal government, including checks and money orders, as Donald Trump did say, flowing into and out of the United States general fund, which might be thought of as America's bank account, imposes unnecessary costs, or delays, and risks of fraud, lost payment, theft, and inefficiencies. Mail theft complaints have increased substantially since the beer flu. Historically, the Department of the Treasury checks are 16 times more likely to be reported lost or stolen, returned, or undeliverable. So obviously, modernizing the system just makes sense, right? They need an alternative version, or an EFT, electronic fund transfer, maintaining the physical infrastructure and specialized technology for digitizing paper records, and the cost to American taxpayers, $657 million in the fiscal year of 2024 alone. This order promotes operational efficiency by mandating the transition to electronic payments for all federal disbursements and receipts by digitizing payments to the extent permissible under the applicable law. Section 2, the policy. So it is the policy of the U.S. to defend against financial fraud and improper payments. So, of course, they've already been cutting all kinds of costs through Doge. Phase out the paper check disbursement and receipts. Okay, effective September 30th, 2025, and to the extent permitted by the law, the Secretary of the Treasury shall cease issuing paper checks for all federal disbursements, inclusive of intragovernmental payments, benefit payments, vendor payments, and tax refunds, except as specified under Section 4 of the order. And then there are some subsections here that I'm not going to go over, but essentially, I think you guys get the case. Exceptions here, Section 4, exceptions and accommodations for the phase out of paper check disbursements and receipts. The Secretary of the Treasury shall review and, as appropriate, revise procedures for granting limited exceptions where electronic payments and collection methods are not feasible. So obviously making some exceptions there. Implementation and compliance of electronic transactions. The Secretary of the Treasury, in coordination with the heads of agencies, shall develop and implement a comprehensive public awareness campaign to inform federal payment receipts of the transitions for electronic payments, including guidance on accessing and setting up digital payment options. And then there's some provisions under that. Reporting requirements. So obviously it has to be compliant. They have to be transparent with everything. And general provisions. Okay, nothing in this order shall be construed to impair or otherwise affect the authority granted by law to an executive department or agency, the functions of the director of the Office of Management and Budget relating to budgetary, administrative, or legislative proposals. This order shall be implemented consistent with applicable law and subject to the availability of appropriations. This order shall not intend to and does not create any right or benefit, substantive or procedural, enforceable at law or in equity by any part of the United States, its departments, agencies, or entities, its officers, employees, or agents, or any other person. So, guys, they're modernizing the payment landscape. Of course, this is going to, this is all part and parcel to, why, the modernization of FedWire is occurring as well at the same time. We're likely going to see a lot more utility through, a lot of these mechanisms now moving forward when, in fact, this does come into play. So some big news here, guys, happening at the federal level in the United States. Wanted to thank Mr. Mann just for posting that. So, are you surprised considering Crypto.com, yes, Crypto.com, who has an exclusive partnership with Truth Social, partially owned by President Donald Trump, that they just announced this, okay? With regards to, this new emerging asset class, Crypto.com will be the exclusive partner of Truth Social for 3 ETFs and a first-of-its-kind ETF basket of cryptocurrencies, including BTC, Ethereum, Solana, Crow, and XRP. So check it out, guys. They just announced it. XRP going to be part of this crypto basket here. And this was just signed in a couple of days ago, March the 24th, 2025. So, modernizing payments, understanding that, XRP is going to be utilized in this new financial framework. Donald Trump knows where the money's at. Not to mention Chris here, the CEO of Crypto.com. He also did comment on this courtesy of Scott Melker, the Wolf of all streets. Listen to this.
Next couple of years, I think altcoins that have strong flows will outperform. I don't know if you guys seen this, but there's a forecast saying that the ETF for XRP is going to attract 8 billion of inflows next year. So you can imagine what kind of impact that may have. And in terms of what we're doing, I think we have a very clear, differentiated, exciting strategy that nobody else is pursuing and nobody else can compete with us on. That's very unique. So we will build it, and I hope you guys join along for the ride.
I don't know if you guys caught that, but he said XRP ETFs are going to attract $8 billion of inflows in 2026. I'm going to play you guys just that part of the clip again.
There's a forecast saying that the ETF for XRP is going to attract 8 billion of inflows next year.
So $8 billion of inflows next year. It is all being set up. Truth Social, Crypto.com. By the way, he's the CEO of Crypto.com. I guess I should say that if I didn't say it already. XRP, part of this basket now that is co-owned by Truth Social, a company that is partially owned by the President of the United States. As we're seeing the Modernization of Payments Act, this is happening in real time, guys. So here we have it, the XRP price poised to go up even higher than it is today. That's just my opinion. And if you want to hear more opinions on where I think this market's going to go, this is all happening in real time. I'm getting this information every single day. I do my research every single day and I'm bringing it to you guys. Some of this stuff is changing in real time too. So, the percentage of my portfolio that I'm going to be holding for the long term, especially my XRP, might be changing. Follow me, guys, patreon.com/workingmoneychannel for my real-time analysis on how I'm looking at this market. Again, we're going to be doing another live Q&A at the end of the week. And please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.